From Buffalo to the big leagues, this is MaDi Tells All. Hello, friends. Welcome to MaDi Tells All. This one's going to be a little bit shorter, but I thought we would talk a little bit about marketing, how I've marketed myself, LinkedIn, social media marketing, YouTube, a little bit of everything. Well, I'm still very new to the YouTube, but your girl has hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I thank you. But just a little bit of background, right? So how I got into social media is a question that everyone is always asking, right? So I went through an insane major breakup, and I kind of was like, I want this to be one of those situations where you will see me everywhere, and I need to work my hardest to prove to you and everyone else that I am a hard worker and that I am successful. So sometimes breakup and haters are your biggest motivators. But I started off as working in the hospitality space forever, okay? I was a server, I was a hostess, I was a mixologist, basically a GM, started doing social media for one of the restaurants I worked at, you name it. But it was when I got into my personal chef era where I started making content of just like me cooking. And then my ex and I would have these like lavish dinners. We'd go out to dinner. We'd have dinner parties at our house, Alaskan king crab legs, tomahawk steaks, just like bougie, balling on a budget kind of vibe. Food definitely is one of those things that I always wanted to spend money on. I love cooking, but it's so funny because I don't cook that much in New York anymore. But long story short, started posting those videos and you guys really liked them. So I got a little addicted and I was like, people are liking this. And then restaurants all of a sudden started reaching out to me and they were like, hey, like come into this restaurant. We can give you some free food, yada, yada, yada. So like it all went down there. And then I like grew 4,000 followers really, really fast. And I was like, damn, like what do influencers do? I'm like looking on the internet and I'm like, well, I guess you start a clothing line. That's like what everyone says. So I launched a clothing line. I sold out in 3 days, which was absolutely incredible. And it was all just a little photo shoot I did on my iPhone in my parents' backyard because it was during COVID. And I went through basically a divorce and I didn't know what I was doing. I was only supposed to be at my parents' house for a few weeks, came home from my South Africa trip and COVID happened 3 weeks later. And no apartments were being shown. Nothing was happening. And it was a huge major worldwide lockdown. So I was like, okay, I gotta hang out at my parents' house. My parents were absolutely incredible. My clothes came in the mail the same day that I was laid off of work. And I was like, okay, what do we do now? And I did a little photo shoot. I sold out in those 3 days and I took like 50% of those earnings and I funneled it back to the community because I was like, I don't need this. I'm living at my parents' house. I don't have crazy rent and might as well get back to the community and hospitality workers. So we started dropping off food to UPS workers, teachers, firemen, hospitals, everything, all through the clothing line. It became a huge part of my mission with BFS. I think it's a huge reason why my account also started blowing up is because you were not only thinking about me, but you were wearing me. And when you're wearing me and when your friends are like, oh, where'd you get those pants from? You're like, oh, this girl, Buffalo Food Slut. You're like, what's that? Is that an OnlyFans? And you're like, no, it's a PG account. Maybe her story is sometimes a little thirsty. But, I would like throwing that in there. But anyways, that's what really kickstarted it. And I did, my God, I feel like I did 300 events in those 4 years of just doing pop-up after pop-up. Like the hustle was real. It was my full-time job. I was still doing the clothing line, selling merch while also bartending at 500 Pearl. And 500 Pearl wouldn't close sometimes until 4 o'clock in the morning, wouldn't get home, showered in bed until 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then I would have a pop-up at like 11 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. And it was just nonstop. I remember I was definitely like the thinnest I've ever been, not because I wasn't eating. It was because I was just on the move so much and probably not having enough protein or something like that. I wasn't grossly skinny, but I just remember that. I was like, you're exhausted. And then I had to make that decision of when I was going to leave 500. And I remember texting Jason, who was the GM at the time. And I was just like, hey, business is going great. And I love you guys so much, but I need to prioritize my business and I need to leave. And they were just like, congratulations. Basically, we knew this was going to happen. we see you doing your stuff. And they were just always so gracious and so incredible. 500 Pro was Patrick's Rooftop was just one of my favorite places to work. Amazing, amazing owners. Billy Palladino, Jason was our GM. And then we also had Mac, who, I don't know, maybe Jason was maybe higher than that. And then Mac was a GM. Either way, amazing. And then RIP Tommy, but Tommy was just absolutely incredible to everyone. I don't know. It was awesome to go in a workspace where everyone was so friendly. And I always promoted all the time when I was working there and always tried to give them advice all the time of any socials. And I remember it was like one of the meetings that they said that they're like, Madeline's over here doing French onion polls and making content. And you guys on dead days aren't doing anything. Like, be more like her. And I was like, thank you. But I started just really... I'm not a person who's maybe as consistent as I could be with like maybe posting every Wednesday at this point, every Friday at this point. I just kind of like let it rip. I definitely think like on the weekends, like Friday morning, I believe is a huge time to post early in the morning because people still maybe haven't made weekend plans as like in the food blogging space, or if you're in the hospitality space or event space, like early morning Friday before everyone gets up, that like 7:30 to 8:30 rush. And then people are heading to work or got up a little bit early, or they're working from home. They're totally on their phone. They can see that stuff. And then on the weekends, when I'm on Buffalo Food Slut page, I really am doing things like remixing some really cool coffee content, because what's everyone doing and thinking about on a Saturday morning? They're thinking about their morning cup of coffee. Well, let me inspire. So I try to find some local places in Buffalo that have made some good reels and try to remix that, give them, proper plugs, and even will say their location and what times they're open, to just like get that going. And then for the New York City stuff, like I'm figuring out my New York City brand and what it's going to be. So many people keep asking questions. And, my friend the other day is like, you can't just do lifestyle. It's so basic. But I'm like, my lifestyle is pretty fun, pretty crazy. I feel like people like it. So that's why I'm really depending on you guys, my followers and friends, to listen to this podcast, because it's my dream to just come in here and yap all day with special guests. Like, I come out of here with like a high like no other. But back to the marketing aspect of it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is high engagement time. Monday, everyone's like not looking, they're not ready to plug into work yet. So I think early morning content and late at night, the doom scrolling is definitely what they're going to be a part of. And two, I can't stress enough to engage with your comments, every single one if you can. Answer every single DM, even if it's a heart. Say thank you, classic Go Bills. But I think that's what always has set me apart. People think I'm so inaccessible because they see my following account and they're like, oh, she'll probably never answer your DMs. How many DMs I get of like, you're probably never gonna see this. Like, is that how you really want to start your sales pitch? And that's what you have to remember, is that I'm a business at the end of the day. And I'll never forget, this was over the summertime, there was these two boys that were like, you never answered my DM back. That's how they greeted me. You never answered my DM back. I said, oh, like when did you DM me? A few months ago. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, sometimes it happens that I open up the DM and then I get a phone call. And by the time I get back on there, like I forgot that it happened, or I got many other DMs. Long story short, I'm a business at the end of the day. And you have to remember that influencers or anyone who's promoting their business on Instagram, whether that you have 50 followers or you have 500,000 followers, if you are marketing that you are a business, treat it like a business. So yes, you can slide in with a DM 100%. I've been following your content, but also don't say you've been following my content if you've never DM'd, liked, or commented anything, and you could pretty much see that in the first few seconds. So think strategically. If you're going to approach a brand, a person to do anything, start engaging, start messaging weeks before, and actually start to get to know a brand, because maybe you're going to understand if you really want to work with this brand or if it's not the right fit. Okay. So that person comes up to me, he says that, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I go in my DM. They DM'd me once. Okay. And I don't even think it was like that, and I answered back. they talked to me about the shoes and me wanting to wear some of their shoes. And I just was like, hey, here's my email. Oh, yeah, here's my email. Send me all over the information. They never emailed me. I said, did you ever email me? They're like, no, but I DM'd you. I thought we could just do it over DMs. Any business priority for any influencer, for the most part, I can't speak for everyone, I'm going to send you to my email. That's either going to be me, that's going to be my assistant, or my virtual assistant. And we prioritize where you at. Are you trying to give us gifted product, which is free, in exchange for reels or stories? Are you trying to do paid ads? Are you trying to get the rights to do commercial campaigns and run ads on us? There's so many different avenues. So my assistant and my virtual assistant will go through that and prioritize which ones to then stream to me. They send me the most important ones so we can get to action fast. Ones like, hey, we're doing this organization, that is going to go over to my assistant in Buffalo, and I'm going to have her send, the boxes. It doesn't have to go exactly through me, but if you're looking for charity donations, I have a girl that's going to go right through there so that I don't have to organize that. If it's going with brand deals and you're talking about using the usage rights where they're going to do paid ads behind there, they want to use it for their personal TikTok, their Instagram, wherever it may be, you're going to go right to me because that is the moneymaker, right? Those are companies, a lot of corporate companies, like I've worked with Tim Hortons and Hidden Valley Ranch, where they're coming in very corporate-y. Everything has to get approved a million times. I'm the one editing and filming the content. I need that to go right to me. And then my virtual assistant, the things like have been going through him is like, I charge $100 to be featured on my story. If you want me to write a review and I truly like your product, it's probably going to be $100. And those are a lot of things that he can organize. And, we just did one with a toothpaste company because people like my teeth, they're white. So a company was like, we want to send you this healthy toothpaste. We want you to post a story. We want you to do a review, just on Google or whatever. Okay, he designs the contracts. He knows how much I charge. They go right through that. He has my credit card. He buys the product on Amazon. He tells me what to do, right? So long story short, we are a business. We run like a business, especially with brand deals. If you do not get a hold of me through a DM, which I try to answer 98% of my DMs, then go through my email. There's my email on my website. And also there's a fill out form for collaboration so you could get right to the source. Take time to go through my website, see what I offer. People have known me so long as just like, oh, she's a food blogger. Guys, I need you to get that out of your head. I am so much more than a food blogger. Food blogger is what catapulted my business. But yes, do I love food? Buffalo Food Slut still 100% runs in Buffalo, and that's a category of food blogging. But I am a business owner. I have a marketing company. I specialize in social media marketing. You name it, I could probably do it for your company. Experiential build-outs, social media marketing, social architect. What's a social architect? A social architect is someone that can come to an event or networking event on your behalf. Say that you're a CMO and CFO aren't that outgoing and you have a brand that you're trying to launch and you just want someone to be the face of your company. You can send me over your whole entire pitch deck. I can learn it and then go to networking events on your behalf and go speak on that if I believe in the product or I've already worked with this. And I've done this with brands. I actually was hired by one of my friends, Ryan Montalopoulos, to go to South by Southwest with him, where I was provided tickets, Airbnb, all this kind of stuff to go to this insane festival in Austin, Texas, to go help him find angel investors for his movies. Okay? I think that's pretty cool. And I've done this for other brands. I've obviously done this with Game Day. I mean, I've been working with them for so long now, but at the end of the day, Game Day is a client of mine, right? I'm an independent contractor. And I specialize in social media marketing. I literally have found staffing from them, liquor license, catering, DJ. Like, I don't know what I haven't done for that company, but I can do it all because having a platform like that leads you to connections. And that's what I need you guys to understand is that it doesn't matter about the following account. If you have 500 followers, that's 500 people that you have access to like that. Not going on Facebook and same thing with Facebook as well. But you have 500 people that if you go out there and just say, and you can use this for your mental health. Hell, you can say, hey, I'm having a bad day. Can anyone cheer me up? You know that there's 500 people that might also cheer you up. But it's like a Facebook marketplace. Like you're just like, hey, I'm looking for a dresser. Everyone DMs and comes in. But I just have done so much stuff like that with last minute staffing. Like, hey, we're looking for workers, and posted an Instagram status, and there it goes. Like, use Instagram for so much more than just what it's there for. It's a networking tool. You can start with small groups. And I don't care if 5 people show up. That's 5 people that you got together that all started from a social network. But long story short, I just need you guys to understand that we are business owners, and that if you want to do business with us, treat us like a business, email, call, text. A DM can only go so far. And I've really learned that myself. And I've learned that with brand deals. Like, I'm reaching out to these brands. Oh, I'd love to do a collaboration with you. And then I never even tried their product before. And I'm like, shame on me. Like, why would I want to promote something if I've never used it? But I will say that the ones that I DM is because my friends have all used their products before, or I had like a sample somewhere, or I'm like, your branding's incredible. Like, I would love to get to know more about this business. But also, wherever you are living, go to your local networking events. My life changed the second ever networking event I went to in New York City. I've gone to 5 million in Buffalo, New York. There's awesome coffee meetups at Seneca 1 at 7 or 7:30 with free bagels and coffee. There's ones at what's the other one? There's another networking one, I think, on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock there. But moving to New York City, I said yes to my first one, which was very, very strange. Probably the strangest of strange events I've ever been to in my whole entire life. And it was like a theatrical play. And it was all because someone from Buffalo slid into the DMs. Their wife owned a PR company. And I was like, yes. And me and Lainey went, God bless her soul. We went to this thing and we're like, what is this? It was like a play with like a disco networking event. It didn't go well. We met someone cool from like the Farmer's Fridge or something, the Farmer's Dog, which like, I love that brand. They spent a ton of money in New York City with branding. And that was about it. And then I totally was like coming on being sick. I've never gotten sick my whole entire life. Moved to New York City, got like sick 3 times in like a month. I had like perfect attendance growing up and have an insane immune system. Everyone around me can be sick and I was fine. Never got the C word. I was living my life. But anyways, I almost said no to this other event because I could tell that I was exhausted. I could tell sickness was coming on, but I was like, this person messaged me on LinkedIn. They're like, come to my event. I was like, Lainey, she was like, I don't know if I want to go. That last one you took me to was real weird. And these were back to back, like a Tuesday and Wednesday. We ended up going to this event. It was Build Dream Connect, an awesome young entrepreneur. He started it. And I definitely think I was like somewhat a little overqualified to be there. And just a lot of everyone else was like really just moved to New York and they were like 20, 21, like inspiring artists, all these kind of things. And a lot of them didn't really have Instagram or know how to use it yet, or just really was like, there were so many things when they showed me their page. I was like, this needs to be fixed. And I gave as much advice as I can. And I was like, if I'm in those situations where maybe I am a little overqualified, I can give that time that I'm there for an hour and give as much free advice as possible, which if you're out with me and you ever just want to give me your phone for 2 seconds, I will be brutally honest with you if your Instagram needs a facelift or not, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. And then I met Levi, who is the owner of Syndicate, and his business was so fresh. Like, I think he just started events, and him and I are the same exact age, and we just started boom, boom, boom off the bat. We didn't even like talk like that crazy, but like, as much as we could there. And then it was a few weeks later that, we were like, let's grab coffee and see how we can collaborate. And it's how I've made a lot of my friends and connections in New York City and been a part to just invited to just incredible events with insane influencers and models. There's like 450 influencers. They make a platform of 500 million followers, 500 million followers. Over 100 of them are Forbes models, and with other world-renowned talent agencies that are even like, I think, bigger than Forbes. And then a ton of influencers with 100,000 followers and above. Obviously, there's some more like me that's like, I have 100 together, but some other ones that are up and coming that I'm just like watching them go from 10,000 followers to 30,000 to 50,000, inspiring actors like. And it's so cool. It's like we have producers, we have actors. Let's put them in a room together. We have artists, we have food bloggers. Let's do an event together where there's food, fashion, and art like everything. We're staffing the front row to the MMA fights that are on TV in Times Square. They're closing down Times Square and doing these events, and we get to be a part of it. It's insane. And someone like Levi just completely we hit it off right at the back. I have a lot of awesome assets, so does he, and some of them are completely different, and so they go together so well. But I've never met someone that is outgoing as I am and can work a room. And we don't work a room for like being like a salesman. It's like we work a room because we want to work a room. We want to get to know as many people as possible. We never want to be greedy. There's so much room to go around, and any time that our influencers, our creators are dealing with a problem or an invention they want to have or a product they want to come or app they want to develop, we are constantly trying to figure out the connections there so that they can build together, which right now, we're working on some incredible projects. That's why we were all here today, giving a little tour of everything, doing some of the behind the scenes of what it takes to be in Syndicate and the meetings, because we're doing something with this one company called The Pack. They're like an awesome bougie gym that Sierra, I think, is like an investor of. But like, I've just been to the most incredible meetings and met with the most incredible AI app developers from Meta and YouTube. Like, all because of him, and I add a lot of value. But that meeting was from my connections, because as soon as I posted on LinkedIn, which, guys, if you're not on LinkedIn, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that you're doing everything for your business and you're exhausted and you're trying if you don't give LinkedIn a try. My sales pitch with LinkedIn is that LinkedIn, you're talking to the VPs, the CMOs, the COOs, the CFOs. You are talking to the source, the social media manager, not just like the assistant, the VA, the AI that now probably everyone implemented onto their chat box. You are talking to the source. You're talking to the owners. You're talking to the co-owners, the founders. You're talking to them. And they're the ones that are really out there, and to talent managers, people that are constantly just on there searching for talent. It's how people get poached for businesses. I moved to New York City, and within me moving to New York City, I've been poached by like 7 different businesses. 3 of them, the rest 4, I'm like, whoa, you offering me some insane stuff and pay. And just like that's how I got to freaking Art Basel. Like, are you kidding me? All because I get a DM LinkedIn of, hey, like, and I'm getting flown out to Art Basel with 3 of my friends and getting comped all of this stuff and going around like the most insane people. Sometimes I'm like, whoa. But LinkedIn, if you need help with that, that's another service I provide. I've done that with an NFL player. I won't say his name. We'll keep that private, but a Buffalo Bills player, and helped him rebrand his LinkedIn as Media Kit Press Kit, also a service I do. You have to remember that in Buffalo, New York, we really don't have PR agencies. We don't have talent managers. So you have to become your own. And my Instagram was blowing up, and I became awarded the #1 influencer in Western New York without ever having a talent manager, without ever having a PR company represent me, and without knowing what an influencer basically was. No one was teaching me besides anything. I do give a shout out to Jessica Bryan, Chef Darian's wife, because she has mentored me so much and helped me so much with brand building and just knowing what my worth is. It was very hard. I mean, I did free marketing for 3 years with a ton of restaurants and bars, and all hospitality, even law firm. Like, I don't know. I've just worked with so many different businesses. And I would just come in there with my ring light and do all this kind of stuff for them, because it was during a very hard time. Restaurants open, close, open, close. That's a whole thing. We've talked about that before. But at one point, when do you start making money and become taking yourself serious? And right now, I'm in this pivotal part of my career where it's, do you continue to keep working for someone else? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm an independent contractor with all my businesses, and they hire me and my services. Or do I go so much more into this space where I do really take in doing the LinkedIn, doing the media kit, become my PR agency, work for a PR agency. It's all very confusing. And that's what I'm always here for, is sometimes I need you guys' motivation and push to be like, yes, do it. I'm so interested. I would hire you in a second. And don't think because I'm in New York City, I'm not going to be taking clients from Toronto and Buffalo and Rochester and Syracuse, all around the world, okay? World Wide Web. And it's also figuring that out because even with Syndicate, we have a lot of crossover and promotion. Like, is it my own service? Do we collaborate on this? So every day I'm trying to figure that out. But now that football season ends, I can like breathe like just slightly because now I'm not on a plane every other day, still working my A off. But yeah, it's going to be insane. If we go into the TikTok space, TikTok, I'll tell you right now, TikTok likes consistency. They like you to post 3 times a day, 7 days a week, and to stick with it. Stick with, if you're a foodie, be a foodie. If you're a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, be a Buffalo Bills fan. If you are a best eats or best hotels in New York City, stay with that. For whatever reason, Instagram, I feel like you could be all over the place and it doesn't matter. Engagement's pretty consistent. But on TikTok, they like you to do the same thing, post almost the same. Like if you're going to post 3 times a week, stay consistent with it. And 10 a.m., 8 a.m. But TikTok also, like, you can post at like 1 in the morning. And because of time differences in other countries, it works out really well. I've read like a lot about that. But hashtags do well on TikTok. Hashtags do not do well on Instagram. That is a thing. I am an avid story poster, but I think I have pedaled back a little bit. I think that you have to post on your stories a little bit less and let them run out or run for 22 hours, which I've been getting told this forever. And I did it like last year and then I stopped because like I just love telling you guys what I'm up to. I feel like you're interested, but I do realize when someone has 27 stories, I'm just like, click, 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 and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking them. I'm not going on their links, and that's what Instagram wants you to do, and that's what stories are for, is for easy link access, which Instagram just came out with Instagram edits, and now you can link Reels to your Instagram feed. I don't know what that looks like yet. I just found out 2 nights ago, so stay tuned for that because I'll probably be doing that, but I would love for you guys to let me know more what you guys want from me. Do you guys love me talking about marketing and social media? Obviously, I came on here today and yapped my whole entire week because it's like a digital diary for me and I feel like you guys like to listen to that. But I came in here today thinking that episode was done and I'm like, well, I did rent this room for 2 hours. So why don't I just talk about marketing and business strategy? So if that's something that you guys want me to dive deeper into, let me know because I'll just continue to do more and more research and write it down. So when I come on here, I have more of like a structure because right now I'm just freeballing and spitting out all the things that I've known and have worked for me. But I know that I have now access to some people that work at some of these companies that I can just ask more questions like what's trending, who should I follow, blah, blah, blah. So please let me know on that. That's all I'm going to give you today. But I love you guys so freaking much. And I'm so thankful. I cannot believe we had 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's crazy. That's freaking nuts. Because it takes a podcast sometimes up to a year to gain 1,000 followers. And, the next operation is how do we make my Instagram grow like crazy? It's obviously not the Bills season anymore. And you guys love following me for that because I am a diehard Bills fan. But it's figuring out what I'm doing in New York City besides this major podcast and how to just keep this rebrand going strong. And you guys get to know and hear more about what Madeline Hall has to say. And go Bills. From small town roots to the big city hustle, remember your past doesn't define you. Your passion does. If something hits home today, share it, tag me, even write in. Be a part of this community. This isn't just my mic, it's ours. Check the episode description below for all the links. Until next time, keep building your empire your way.